Yeah. All right, guys, this is Sandra Gwine with Brand You Love. And tonight on our show, we have Laura Reich with Envision. Oh, Lord. Too much wine. No wine. Maybe I need wine. Maybe that's what it is. Envision Advertising.
Yeah.
So she's going to be talking to us tonight about how to use Pinterest to rock your business. So she currently has an amazing challenge that she's doing, which is the 5 days to become a Pinterest marketing rock star. I have no idea what that even means, but I'm sure she's going to tell us. So excited to have her here. She's full of energy and spunk, which we all need because some of you guys are tuning in from the East Coast. So if you guys are tuning in from the East Coast, let me know on the chat where you guys are tuning in from. And I'm going to let Laura say her hello.
Thanks. Hey, everybody. I'm actually Central Time, so it's still close to the East Coast, kind of late here. My munchkin, hopefully he'll let me, is staying asleep upstairs. So, but yeah, I am the owner of Envision Advertising. It has been around for almost 7 years now. Originally, we were a virtual assistance company, and we have been rebranding lately to Pinterest and blogging because that is where I found my biggest passion is helping people with those and driving those traffic and sales and growth with those two platforms. So the newest thing and tagline that we come up with, or that I came up with, is I am the Pinterest marketing rock star. And so my thing when I go to people and talk to them is, hey, I'm Laura. I am the rockstar pinup gal. And
I love it.
Thanks. And I will get your business out of the gutter, starting with Pinterest and blogging.
Love it.
So yeah, so that's our new tagline. We're really super excited about this. Going to be working on launching Pinterest online courses so that people can do exactly what I'm doing for their own business without having to pay someone to manage it for them. So I'm super excited about that. But yeah, that's what I got.
Awesome. So I am on Pinterest because I feel like, for the reason that most people are on there, because I want to pin all the stuff that I'm never going to have time to do. So that's pretty much what I pin is like, oh, I love this, whatever, dessert. It's amazing. Yeah, one day I might make it. Actually, I have made a few things from Pinterest, I will admit. And I have a little one. And so she totally has inspired me to be Pinteresting. So I do use it for those reasons. And then I have, everyone tells you make sure your blog is pinnable. And so I do have that. But after that, I'm like, okay, yeah, I ain't got time for Pinterest because it's a place where I get lost and I don't want to get lost there. So, so I think one of the things for me is like, having a strategy is awesome if I know exactly why and how to use it. I do, for business purposes, I use it to create client avatars because I think they're super important, like, to identify your ideal client. Yeah. And I like the visual aspect of that. And then, for branding purposes, like, oh, these colors match my brand. This is inspirational. But I really want to hear more because I feel like this is just so interesting to me. And so many people ask me, how can they use Pinterest? How can they leverage Pinterest, for their business? Do you have any stats on I heard it was like millions of people are clicking on Pinterest, I don't even know. I feel like, do we know numbers wise?
I can get some for you. How about that?
Ooh, I like that. I like that.
Yeah, so I know one of the biggest things people talk about too is blog or Pinterest is really good to promote your blog, and you kind of touched on that. Mm-hmm. One of the areas of concern that people have a lot of time is, okay, I have this blog and I want to make it optimized for a computer desktop and then also mobile devices, because that's a huge thing that people are working on right now is people are on their phones, they're on their iPads, they're on all these different devices. So how is it that I make this Pinterest image that is super long and super wide fit on my blog so it doesn't take up this huge space? And so there are, I mean, the biggest thing that I use is I use a plugin on WordPress. And that WordPress plugin, I'm going to pull up the link and type it in the chat here. But it's Warfare plugins. And it is a paid plugin, but it's like $20 for the year. So it's not, I think it's like $24 for the year. It's not super expensive, but the nice thing about it is it couples a bunch of things in for you. So one of the things you can do is at the bottom of your blog post, you can set a Pinterest image to be recognized when you share that blog on Pinterest. So if you go and say, hey, Pinterest, here's a blog link, or you click on, add link to search images on that blog to share on Pinterest, it'll automatically from this plugin pull up that Pinterest worthy size and then be able to give you that option to share it, even if it's not in the text and main visual aspect of your blog.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, so that's one of the biggest new things that I've been really promoting to people, is because they are always like, okay, so my blog cover photo is 810 pixels by 450 pixels. That's not a blog image size. So with this plugin, it really allows you to be able to have the versatility to share a good image, quality image on Pinterest without hindering the style and look of your blog.
Okay. Love that. Now, do you have, so will it, if you upload a picture into your blog that is not the appropriate size, will it resize it then for Pinterest? Is that what you're saying?
So it can resize it. It depends on the type of image that you put in there. So sometimes it may cut things off just depending on what you've created.
Makes sense.
The typical image size that I tell people to always kind of stick by is 735 wide by anywhere from 900 to 1100 tall. And if you go into, I use Canva. I know a lot of people use PicMonkey too, but I prefer Canva because they already have the preset templates for you. So if you go into Canva, it will give you that template, which is, I think they do 735 by 1000. So then you can just make a quick graphic in there and upload that, and then that would work on social warfare. So perfect. And some Twitter stats I pulled up from you. They're from Digital Stats and Gadgets. There's over 100 million active users on Pinterest right now.
Insane in the brain.
Yeah, and that was last updated in September of 2015, so not too long ago. The number of registered, which they mean verified, kind of like how Facebook is verifying pages and things like that, is 176 million. And so there are 76 million that aren't actively using their accounts, but there's 176 million people on there.
A ton of people. A ton.
The percentage of adult women that use Pinterest online is 42%. 42% of the adult women in the US are on Pinterest, which for me, that's huge. I don't know other businesses. It really depends on your niche and who you're trying to reach out to. But I personally work with female entrepreneurs, startups and small businesses trying to grow and make a break for it. So that is huge for anybody that's looking to get into that female type niche.
Can you see my screen? We're on Twitter.
Yay!
So it did work. It just took a minute to go up there.
No
Katina
problem.
shared it. Thanks, Katina. I don't know. It worked when she shared it, but didn't work when I shared it. Strange.
It just doesn't
Maybe
like
it's
us.
just from in here. Very cool. So here's the thing. So obviously, I mean, it's going to be dependent on your niche and if you're looking for women, then that's a good place to go. And I think I would say that most of the people who tune in to us are women. So, I feel really confident that we're, that the people who are tuning in are definitely in need of what it is that you're laying down. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So one of the things that I would, I guess, ask is like, what is most important to share on Pinterest? Like, what are the best things to share on Pinterest? Because I feel like, my previous business was a photography business. My husband is still a photographer, and I just help him in the back end because I'm better at business management and branding than I am as a photographer. And I'm okay with admitting that. But, one of the things I see a lot of people share are, photography images and things like that, photographs of people. And I recently heard that wasn't really, that wasn't the best thing to share on Pinterest. So, I'd love to get some insight from you. Like, what are the best things to share on Pinterest?
So if you're going to go about it for photography, just taking that niche and kind of running with that, since that's what we started with, the best thing probably isn't to put up a picture and say, hey, look at this great picture I took, but maybe kind of branch out from that. So you can still show the photography that you've done by using those images as your own stock photos. And so alter that a little bit and say, hey, here are some good outfit combinations for families. Or here are some good props that you want to ask your photographer if they have. Or you can kind of pose it like think backwards. So if someone was going to hire a photographer, what questions would they come to you and ask? You want to solve those questions visually on Pinterest, because people think of Pinterest as their Google Plus, or their Google, but visually. And so if someone looks at an image, they want to see that that's what they're looking for. They may not click through right away, but if they are capturing their answer in your visual Pinterest image that you put up there, they're going to save it. They will later click through it. They will later see other information, but they will want to save it because you're answering a question for them visually without them having to go through anything. So you want to kind of look at it backwards a little bit.
Okay. So basically you're taking out the personal connection to the photos and creating a more generalized approach to what people are seeing in this photo.
Yep. And another thing too is they have that new search feature on all their images now, where it's called Smart Search. And so a lot of people are really honing in on optimizing the titles that you put on your images. Because if you have those keywords that you want to be found for in your titles, which you should for blogging already, but if you have them on your images as well, that's going to help increase those searches when people do use that smart feed.
Okay. And when you're saying when you have them on those images, is that when you actually upload the images into your blog and you change the title of your images? Is that what you're talking about? Or you're talking about when you put them in Pinterest, the title that you associate with your pin?
Both.
Okay.
So the title that you put on the design of your image now matters because of their smart feed. So that is part number one, that you do want to make sure you're not just throwing up any old title on that design. The second part of it is when you are on your blog and you have those alt tags, you want to make sure that is optimized with full sentences, your company name, your keywords that are in there in those full sentences. But you want to think about those alt tags as your opportunity to say what you want to get across about that pin. And so when you're doing that, you want it to be something that is a little bit more generalized. So if somebody shared it, they would say, oh, I don't need to change that because that's exactly what it solved for me, or that's the question it answered for me. And so they keep that and just pin it, and then it stays that way.
Awesome. Love it. Love it. Okay, just kind of giving a recap. I know there's some people that have come into the room. So we are on with Laura Reich with Envision Advertising, and she's talking about how to rock your business with Pinterest. So I'm really excited about just I think that everyone uses Pinterest, but a lot of it is kind of like not really sure how to use it for your business. So she's giving us some really juicy gems. She also has a free Pinterest marketing e-course that she's doing called how to, blah, blah, what is it? I see down here, it says how to become a Pinterest marketing rock star.
Yep, become a Pinterest marketing rock star. I am in love with the style of pinup girls and kind of that rocker type look. And so that's where it's coming from, is that's kind of me bringing out my weird side.
I love it. That's your brand, and that's awesome. Yep. And I think, that's what makes you unique. And I really, when I read your, a little bit about you, and I read your pinup gal, rockstar pinup gal, I was like, okay, I kind of like her. She's a little spunky.
Thank you. So, I do. I have spunk. Trust me.
I love it. If you guys are in the chat and you have questions, you can ask a question by doing the /Q, and I will type it at the bottom so you guys can see. And feel free to ask questions throughout, and I will pop over and answer them, or, Laura and I both will. But I'm really excited to have you guys here tonight, and we're just going to keep dropping some gems. I love what Laura's saying right now, because basically Laura's like, you guys are already doing this stuff, but here's how you can make it better. This is how you can really take advantage of what you're already doing on your blog, or what you're already doing on social media. This is how you can use it to maximize your business. Mm-hmm. And so one of the stats she gave us is 42% of adult women are on Pinterest. Like, that's huge. And if we're not over there, then, really we're missing out on a big segment if women is our target audience. Yeah. So with that said, what is the most important thing? Like when you're giving people these nuggets and you're like, I really got to tell you this about Pinterest. What is it? What is that one juicy nugget that you want to share with us about Pinterest?
I think the biggest thing for me right now is, just because I fell in love with Pinterest, it kind of seemed natural to me. But what I'm realizing a lot of people don't understand, or maybe they understand and they just don't take the time to think through it, is your descriptions on your boards, on your pins, everything. They customize your ranking just like Facebook, just like Google Plus, based on how much information you're giving people and telling people about. So if you create a digital marketing brand board, you want to explain what that means to you, not what digital brand marketing is, but why you have that on your Pinterest. You don't want to just fill it with online marketing and Pinterest and like all those one-off keywords, but you want to have a conversation with them, and you get about a paragraph to do so. So you want to make sure that you're explaining to them what you're going to be sharing, what information is involved, why you think this information is of value to them, but while also still keeping in those keywords. So it's kind of like a mini blog almost. You want to make sure that that description is filled out to the fullest. If you have multiple niches or multiple keywords that you are looking to be found for, those are the boards you want to start creating, and those are the descriptions you want to make sure you have written to the fullest 100%. And I think a lot of people think it's the pins involved in the board that are going to get the board noticed. And it's actually the other way around. It's the board description and the board title that's going to get your pins noticed.
Okay. So don't go to my Pinterest.
Okay. I love it.
Don't go over there. I have like all these secret boards too. Like I just start making boards and make them secret because I'm like, I know this is a hot mess. So let me just make it a secret.
And that's totally fine if you want to do it that way. I will full confession. I'm not perfect. No, I mean, I haven't met anybody that is on Pinterest yet. So up until probably about a year and a half ago, I didn't have descriptions on all my boards. But I will tell you, since I started changing those descriptions and really focusing on what I was saying in them, I started getting followers that I have no idea where they're coming from. No idea. But that's just how it works. Like, that's why I love it so much, is because it takes a little bit of effort to get a huge result.
Mm-hmm. I love it. I love it. So what do you think is a good amount of time? Like, you know, like how much time should people invest into like cleaning up their boards? I actually do tell people, if they're going to use, you know, if Pinterest is one of their social media platforms, you know, if that's one that they're really focusing on, then I make sure they clean it up. I'm not a, you know, SEO type of person. So I always tell them, at the very least, just make sure that if it's about your brand, that it all jives, you know, like don't have like cupcakes and your photography in the same board. If it's not like, you're not photographing cupcakes, you know what I mean? Like everything should jive.
And that's a good point to make, like not to have them in the same board, but you can still have them both on there. You don't want to make, I mean, you want to make sure that, I want to figure out a way to say this the best so I don't confuse people, but you want to make sure that you do branch out from your niche to make some engagement boards, like make them fun and inviting, because that will be the way you also get people that you may not have known are going to be targeted clients of yours, but they found you because of that cupcake board.
Love it. So if I am a stylist, a fashion stylist, and I am creating my boards, and I make a cupcake board because I love cupcakes, and I mean, because you want to show your personality, your, you know, who you are. That's part of your brand. I'm sure you have pinup. I don't even know you that well, but I know you have pinups girls somewhere on that board, right?
Secret board.
Oh, it's a secret. See, it's all about the secrets. You're frozen right now on my screen. I don't know if you're frozen everywhere. Is she frozen? Oh, there you are. You're moving now. You're moving fast. You're moving real fast. It's like this. So, yeah. Like all that's happening. So if I were to be a fashion stylist and I create this cupcake board, what are some good ways for me to tie all this into who I am? Like, you know, if I'm adding cupcakes and I'm creating this cupcake board, you know, how does that actually tie into me and my brand? Like, what's a good way to do that? Do you have a strategy for that?
I mean, you want to strategize some of it. Some of it you want to kind of leave original and just fun, because it does pull up your quirky or your personality or whoever you are as a individual, so people can see that personal side of your brand. One of the things that I really like that I've seen people do that I highly suggest is, if you are going to do, like, say, for example, a cupcake board, and you're a stylist, maybe focus on the cupcakes that have colors in your branding. So maybe you pick, you know, cupcake designs that, if it were the Rockstar Pinup Girl, have, you know, something to do with rock stars, have something to do with concerts. My colors are fuchsia and navy. So maybe focus on the ones that are highly going to be designed around those colors, like just something to kind of pull in a little bit of your company branding, but still give the fun side of why you like cupcakes. You know, what inspired you to make a cupcake board, and kind of level it off that way.
Love it. So one of the things that I really get, like, I mean, I get people that ask me this all the time, is like how to, you know, they want to know how to use Pinterest. For the most part, I'm like, make sure everything you have on your blog is pinnable. I'm always like, you know, make sure it's pinnable. I love that you said, you know, make sure that we're using, you know, the alt tags, and that we're, you know, writing a nice blurb underneath our image in Pinterest so that people know what it's about. The other thing you did was give us that great plugin, which is in the comments if you guys didn't see it before, which is warfareplugins.com, which I think is super, super helpful to have that. Because one of the things that I do is I get totally like turned about when I'm creating my blog post. So do you recommend that for every blog post you have at least one pinnable, like the Pinterest sized appropriate image?
So I do suggest that you have at the very least one.
Okay.
I just wanted to give a disclaimer.
Okay.
That is not an affiliate link. They do have affiliate stuff, but
Okay.
I am not doing it.
Okay. Okay.
So the biggest thing that with Pinterest images and blogging, I think is really overlooked is, yes, you want that one pinnable image. The easiest way I do it is with that plugin, because then I don't have to destroy the layout of my blog with a very long graphic. But you don't have to pin straight from your blog. You can upload pins from your desktop and then attach the link to your blog. And so people do not, once they create that pinnable image, they're done with it. And that is really harmful actually to you, because your visual style may be different than my visual style. Again, I really like the fuchsias and the navies. I mean, that's kind of what I'm wearing tonight. But somebody else may hate fuchsia. And so they're not going to be attracted to that image to want to click through. So my suggestion to people is repurpose your blog title and create multiple graphics. And then share those multiple graphics over a 45, 60, or 90-day span. So you don't upload them all at once, but you're repurposing that one blog.
Do you, are there colors that work better on Pinterest? Like I know there's colors that work better on Facebook, but colors that work better on Pinterest?
I don't know about the specific colors working better, but I can tell you that there are styles that work better. I do a lot of different styles on mine just because, again, I like kind of the quirky style, so I still want that to be incorporated. And they come straight from my blog. But I know a lot of the stock graphic backgrounds of like a desktop or a computer or those type of female high class professional style backgrounds do very well. I also know if you leave it as a white background and then add your colors into the text, something so that it's very chic and professional, does very well. They want to be able to read it. And it also helps with that new smart search on Pinterest. If it is not, like if you don't have 6 different images and 7 different colors, smart search probably won't be able to get through that very well. So the more you have, the harder it will be for people to kind of follow that brand style.
Okay. Makes sense. Katina asks, so you're saying to keep pinning the same pin to share over and over for 60 days, different titles?
So I'm going to take that kind of in 2 parts. Don't take the same image, but yes, repin that blog multiple times. You want to repurpose your content. You want to work smarter and not harder. So you've already created this amazing blog that you want people to see, or maybe it's a freemium landing page or something like that. What I do is I create 3 separate style images. And so one of them will be my quirky style, one of them will be like the white background, and one of them will be like the professional sleek style. They can have all the same title, or they can have different titles, but they are still meaning the same thing. So if I said, grow your following with Pinterest, like the title on here, I could also say, learn more about how to grow your following on Pinterest. Or I could say, we're giving Pinterest tips away tonight, watch this live blab. So it's still not promoting or not clickbaiting with titles, but it's giving them the same value information so that they can then understand that what the title is going to lead to, but you're capturing a different style audience every time you do that. I hope that
very
helped.
cool. Does that answer your question, Katina?
Definitely let me know. Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Awesome.
Okay. Awesome. Which is interesting because I had one of my most popular pins is actually I had my photography studio. It was the colors and the decor and everything was very baby-ish. Like I did newborn photography, so it was all like pastels and what have you. And for whatever reason, this one pin, I'm like, why are people pinning this thing over and over again? One of the pins was just a chair that I had in my studio, and people pinned it a million times. And another one was a picture of my actual studio. So they're still out there, and I don't know, it's got like thousands of people that liked it and repinned it and whatever else.
What I will say is check on what you wrote in the description. Because there's going to be two different types of people that are going to want to repin that. One, they're going to think that that's something they can purchase, that chair. And if they're a photographer and that's, their style, they're going to want something like that. The second thing is if they're looking for prop ideas. Maybe they're a new photographer starting out, or maybe there's someone like me who doesn't do photography, but I would like to know what to expect going into my session or what to ask for when I'm hiring a photographer. And so I'm looking up prop ideas. So there are a couple different ways that people would engage with that. You may look at it as like, oh my gosh, it's a chair. What's going on? But other people are going to look at it visually different.
Oh, very cool. No, I love it. I mean, it's interesting to me because I pin things I just like. It doesn't have to have I don't have to want to make it or whatever. Like, I mean, it doesn't have to have a purpose necessarily in my life. So I like to know what people are pinning. Although when I was pregnant, I did like nursery, inspiration, that kind of stuff. I mean, so I did have a kind of a purpose for that. But yeah, most of the stuff is like, oh, this is fun. Look at these shoes, or, look at this, amazing home or this garden or what have you. So it's cool to see how just having those optimized titles and those keywords can really help with your brand. So here's another question. I think with everything you're saying, one of the questions people are probably going to have is, okay, well, how does that turn into followers? Like, people will click on these images that we've now made general.
Yeah.
You're like, hi.
Yeah, that's my family checking in, and they were seeing if I'm still online or not. So I kind of gave them the don't come up here.
Hey, I know. Well, I'm hoping that she stays in this mode. She's asleep. She's in her little cozy place right now. She goes to sleep super early, like 6:00. It's like bedtime.
Oh, I envy that so much.
Yeah, between 6 and 6:30, and then she wakes up at 6:30. But I know. Shh, don't tell anybody. They'll probably beat me for that. But I know.
No,
don't tell the people. Yeah. Well, I'm really scared because I'm going to Vegas for a conference, and I don't have any idea how it's all going to work because I don't know. I mean, the last time we traveled, I just put her in the bed with me. And I mean, she was like tiny. It was a bad idea then. And then I put her in the pack and play, and it was a nightmare. So it's going to be interesting to see how things work because she's really like scheduled, very specific routine.
Yep.
So we'll see.
I'm the same way.
Anyway,
I'm very, very routine. If that routine changes, that is one of my weakest points in my personality. I struggle with that change.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I'm scared. I'm like totally scared. My husband is like, it's going to be fine. If I got to wear her, whatever, we'll get. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you can't wear her to go to sleep because when we're going back home, you're not going to wear her. We're going to put her instead. Oh my gosh. All right. Getting hitched at Tiffany. How important is it to have a separate account for your business? Does it dilute your brand? That's a good question.
That is a really good question.
Very, very good question.
So honestly, I cannot wear her. I love it. I cannot tell you specifically how to separate your brand and your personal. The reason I can't do that is because it very much so is a, I'm going to unlock this so she can get back in. Unlock, open seat. There she is. Okay. All right. So, what I'll say is I can't, so I can't specifically say, yes, you need a business account, or yes, you need to separate your personal account from your business. The reason I can't do that is because it highly is personal preference. I have some of my really good friends that tell me they just can't handle it because they are keeping their professional, and they're keeping their personal. And that is their choice. In my account, I have both. And the reason I have both is because I want to, in my brand, in my business, be 100% transparent with who I am, how I run things, what you're going to get if you work with me. I want that to resonate through. And some people, which is totally fine, are completely the opposite from that. They may want to keep their personal because they've been through things, or they have family they don't want involved, or whatever their reasons are, they just want to keep it separate. It's not going to hurt your brand one way or another. I can tell you that without a doubt, because my brand, I keep everything together with, 1 second. It's okay, buddy. Just go back downstairs and leave Chloe alone. Go out in the garage then. He was trying to keep the dogs quiet for me, and she snuck upstairs. Aww. So he was like, Chloe. But so again, even like this, someone may absolutely freak out about the fact that their design or their family is now a part of their business profession.
Right.
Like, that is what drives my passion. So honestly, I'm really sorry getting hitched. This is very vague, but in my experience, I have always kept my personal and my professional in one setting. I've never had anybody tell me that was an issue. I've not seen my account suffer because of that. I have not felt like my brand has been diluted because of that. Again, that's my personal preference. I do have friends that tell me the complete opposite, because that's how they see themselves and that's how they're seeing their brand online. They feel like it is diluting them. But that is a decision that I think personally you would have to make. And it depends on, maybe take a survey with some of your really close clients and just see what they think. Do they appreciate understanding where you're coming from, your background, your personal side of your business, or do they want you to keep that separate? And when I asked because some of my friends are my clients, I'm just going to put that out there. Like, that's how I started, was my friends were like, yeah, I want to support you. Here's my business. You help me. And so I ask them everything, and I get responses from them on, hey, you know what? I loved this. This was great. Or, you know what? Maybe I didn't like this so much, and here's why. Just ask. Nobody's going to give you feedback that you can't use. So I hope that was helpful, but I can't tell you one way or another. Personally, for me, do your business and your personal side together. It's not going to dilute your brand. I love it. It works for me. That's I guess how I'll answer that one.
I think, and I think that where branding, where people are now in the world of creating a brand, in any brand that we look at, it's like, everyone is trying to show you the behind the scenes and the human behind the brand, and so I think that where we are now, so one of the things that I always tell my clients when they're in this kind of like, battle is look at the brands you love, find the brands you love and see how they're doing it and emulate that, or find a fine balance between that and you. And you will find that, there's so much goodness you can get out of doing that. I mean, one of the most important things is not only the brands you love, but the brands that your clients love. So, if you know who your client is and the type of brands that they would be attracted to, look at those brands and see, what is it about those brands that you love or don't love, and how you can, bring that in to kind of emulate in your brand. And that's not necessarily me giving Pinterest advice. That's me giving you branding advice, solid brand advice. I feel like a lot of times we try to reinvent the wheel as far as like what we want our brand to be. And, we are all unique people. But for the most part, we're not teaching anything new. I mean, there's Google and there's so much information out there, but who you are is really what makes your brand unique. It's a combination of what you offer, how you offer it, and who you are. And so don't be afraid to kind of show that side, because I think sometimes we're, I feel like I struggled with that for a long time, because I was I was teaching in the university and I was running, a business, a nonprofit. I was doing all these things and juggling that like super professional, like face. And then like all this creative fun stuff down here that I'm doing, which is not really down here. I mean, I was doing a lot. And I remember it was hard for me to separate the two. And so what would happen is I would be at school, I'd be going to teach a class, and they would say, "We saw you on the news yesterday with doing this thing about domestic violence." And I'm like, and I would like try to backpedal my way out of that, because I felt like, oh, that's like this world, and then I'm in this world, and how do I merge those two? So what I found was like, really people value humans more than we think. They value the human side of you, and knowing, what makes you tick and what you love, and kind of how, your interests are. So I hope that helped, Tiffany. And if you guys have any more questions, please drop them in the comments. You can do a /Q. We have a few more minutes. So I've been kind of asking you questions, but if you want to share some goodness, Laura, feel free to do that. Some things that you may have had.
Yeah, I do have some of the things that we talked about earlier is in that free Pinterest marketing course. Mm-hmm. And so it kind of goes a little bit more into depth if anybody had questions that we like about those things that we didn't really get into too much. But I know one of the things we didn't touch on was cross promotion of your Pinterest account, and really letting people know that you are on Pinterest. One of the ways to do that plainly is just grab a URL from an image that you shared on Pinterest. So make sure you're clicked into just that Pinterest image and it pulls up that preview for you. And then grab that URL at the top and share that on your social media as the graphic or the link that you share for the day. But another way to do that is share valuable information. Like if you're going to share your blog post, share a couple sentences about your blog post, or give a snippet from your blog post, a quote, something like that. And then share what we call is a pin for later link. And so what you can do is when you're in Pinterest, if anybody has questions about this, I'm going to give a disclaimer. Please just reach out to me on Twitter. My handle is in the chat. Just let me know and we can do a one-on-one where I walk through it with you. But what you can do is you go on Pinterest, you upload the image that you would want shared, and you find that URL that you're sharing. And what it does is it gives you a specific link. It's not sharing the same as if your pin was already done. But what it is it will pull up when people click on it a separate window and say, pin this. And then bring up, like, if you're going to pin something, what board you choose and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of a window when you're on Facebook and they click that link to open up that pop-up to pin it on Pinterest. And so if that's something they want to read later or learn more about later, that's a really great way to get them to pin that without having to be on Pinterest searching for your content.
Awesome. So Getting Hitched says, I'm working on creating a public speaking business. Do you have any ideas for promotion? And then before you answer that, is this in your marketing course, in your Pinterest marketing course? Do you talk about this pin for later?
Yes,
okay.
I do.
Okay.
Yep, it is in my Pinterest marketing course. And I have, the emails won't show you the videos, but I do have videos that can be provided if you guys need for walking you through exactly how to do something like that.
Okay, perfect.
So, yep, absolutely. Just reach out to me and I definitely can share those. It is a little bit harder to kind of explain it, but
makes sense.
So
makes sense.
Getting Hitched, I'm going to say first off, I love your Getting Hitched, but can you also type in your name just so I know, because I can't. Her
name is Tiffany, and that's only because I know her.
Oh, okay, Tiffany, thank you. Okay, so I like addressing first names. That's just, again, my personality. But so one of the things that I will say, Tiffany, my first impression is, if you are doing a public speaking business, please, my suggestion to you is keep your business and your personal the same, because you are going to be a public speaker. People are going to want to know your personal side of how you talk, how you present yourself, what your passions are. So to go back on that question above about your business, do you think it dilutes it? For public speaking, absolutely not. That's my preference. I think it would be great to keep your personal side in things. According to, let me think. Give me a second. Gotta put my thinking hat on here.
Or you're thinking glasses. Wait a minute.
Oh, yeah. Oh, hey, let's do that. All right.
So much better. There you go.
Okay. So public speaking. No, I think, honestly, one of the things that I would say about public speaking for promotion is, if you, I would like to clarify, are you the one that's going to be doing public speaking, or are you going to be the one that's coaching people on doing public speaking? Because both. Okay, good. Yay, I've got ideas for you. Okay, so if you're going to be the one coaching on public speaking for one side of things, I would like you to focus on what are roadblocks people will come up with. What are quick, easy ways they can work on at home to get more comfortable? What are fears that they may not know they have that are blocking their success in public speaking? And when you figure out those questions and the answers to those questions that someone would come to you for, make those visual. So you could have like a visual female, like say you were talking to only female entrepreneurs, and I got to take these off. And say you had someone that had like a, thank you. Yeah. So say you had someone that was really frustrated. You could grab an image of someone that was like pulling their hair out, or someone that just looked very down and frustrated. And that could be your visual aspect. But then put your, question or your tagline or something to capture them to alleviate that point of pain. Like how to knock down roadblocks when you start public speaking, or the 5 top commonly most addressed fears when you start public speaking, things like that. So you can tie in the visual aspect. What's really fun for me is I don't video a lot, but I do really like taking pictures because I am a visual person to try to get my brand across. So you could even set up your phone to take a timed picture and do like your own stress picture or something like that, and then write your title on it. I mean, because that could...
She's got the best faces. I wish she would do that.
I hate video. I did my first video yesterday. I'm going to fully disclose this. If you go to my free Pinterest marketing e-course link that's here in Blab, that video that was on there took me 3.5 hours to make. So just saying.
Look, She might not like me after this comment, but Tiffany's son can totally be her Pinterest faces.
Yeah, do it. And that's
He's got
it.
serious old man faces.
But that's perfect. Because here's the deal. One, he is a mess. I love it. I don't even know him, Tiffany, but I love it. Okay. So but that's perfect, because that's where I say tie in your personal and your business. That's tying in your family. Your family is probably your passion. It's a lot of people's passion. Maybe it's not your main passion, but that's one of your driving factors of why you're going to...
Maybe it's not your main passion.
I mean, some people, I don't know. For me, my kid was my main passion, so I don't know about others. But so, like, if you tie that in, then one, you don't have to worry about copyright issues or infringement issues. It is originally yours. You can choose the backgrounds. You can take 15 pictures in 5 minutes or even more than that, and use them multiple times for different things. So it's really, I don't know. I love being creative. So even Tiffany, if you wanted to brainstorm offline, just reach out to me and let me know, and we can totally brainstorm. I don't mind at all. It's not something I charge for. I like helping in that regard. But it really, what I will say is, think of, since you're going to do both sides, think of points of pain for people who are just starting out, and think of things that you struggled with, and talk about both. Figure out how you solved your points of pain and what you struggle with, and talk about those and give that value to those individuals. But then also talk about the 5 common, or the common ones that people are going through, or what they're thinking right now that maybe they don't know about, and talk about those, because then you're going to hit both sides if you're handling both sides of them.
You dropping nuggets, girl. Love it. Love it. Points of pain. Yes.
I always say, if you want someone to engage with you, sign up on your list, or believe in your brand, you need to help them alleviate a point of pain or give away something for free.
Exactly.
That's the 2 ways you are going to get people to start recognizing who you are. And if you actually provide that value, take away that point of pain, or provide them with something valuable for free. Now, don't give away the farm, but provide them something of value for free to show them that they can trust you and they can rely on you. You're going to have them for life.
I love it. And Tiffany was on was on the show, I think 3 weeks ago. I don't know. My time frames are all jacked up now. But we're going to bring her back on because she was having tech issues. And I feel like she really gave such good, such good, solid information, especially for people who have like that fear of public speaking and getting out there. And she did great. She did great. How do you have fear, folks? You're great. You just wear your glasses. Nobody will know.
I know, but see, here's the deal for me, and this may be a really good idea for you, because I know I talk about this with a lot of my girlfriends that are online, and I think this would be a really good topic. But the biggest thing that I struggle with when it comes to public speaking is, right now, I'm looking at you and I'm looking at my face. That's it. If I go in front of public speaking and even if there's 10 people, like I'm a part of this group every Thursday to help me with public speaking, I shake. I shake. My chest gets all red. Like, it could be 10 people I've known. I've been in that group for 2 years. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Is it Toastmasters?
No, I'm actually going to try that next. This is a networking group. And so I went in there for the 2 different reasons. 1, to get public speaking and better at it. And then 2, for the networking aspect to get more involved locally, because I'm really a part of the community here. So
nice. Well, the hardest thing for me, I think, is I try to pretty much wrangle all my clients to do video, and it's so hard. And I know that it's tough for them, but I just feel like it's the best way to get your personality across. And so I'm always trying to get my clients to do video. I drive them completely bananas. So, public speaking it's not something that's just comes naturally to me. I speak very fast and I have to enunciate a lot. I told someone I was a brand coach the other day and they said, what do you do with people's brains? And I said, no, I'm a brand coach. And they were like, brain coach. And they just kept saying, I'm like, oh gosh. And then I went home and I like stood in the mirror. I'm like, brand. And I'm like, did I sound like I'm saying brain? So there are little things, English is not my first language. I'm always trying to figure out ways to, just come across without, my accents getting in there and all that crazy stuff. So yeah, totally public speaking is not my thing. Grim says, let's see. I hate public speaking, but video I'm groovy with. I can redo it 100 times. I hope you're not redoing it 100 times, girl.
See,
that's why I do live stuff, because I'm so to the point where I feel like I don't want to spend any more time recreating and creating content like over and over again, because I'm afraid of what I put out there. So I have done more live stuff now because I just don't have time to be editing stuff over and over again. But yeah, I know it is stressful. And yes, when you can redo and re-edit, it is helpful. Let me see. Grim had a question. Do you wear your glasses in your pictures? I get terrible glare. How do you prevent glare?
Yeah, so I answered in the chat box, but the thing that you can see right now, like if I tilt my head certain ways, you'll see the glare from, I don't know what I did, by the way, either. I deleted our link, so you can go ahead and throw one back up
I tried to put it back, but I couldn't. No, I tried to put mine in. I tried to put yours in. I don't
know what I did.
Nothing's happening.
It seemed to disappear, but what my suggestion is when I was doing videos, like right now you can get it from the computer, the glare, and that's because the computer is coming straight at me. So like even if I tilt my head down a little bit, you can see it goes away. My biggest suggestion to you is think about where the lighting is. So right now, if you take a look, I have lighting back here. And it's behind me. That's going to affect the lighting that's coming from the front of me so that I don't have that glare so bad. That is, I will not lie, the video, if you go to my landing page, has bloopers at the end of the video, and you will see me, and I'm like... because I am so frustrated and I'm trying to figure out the glare to go away on the dang video. So, it's hard, especially, but if you are taking pictures, I highly suggest to invest in a photographer. They will be able to 100% and 110%, if they are a good photographer, get that glare off there. I've never had an issue when I've paid a photographer to help me. So just be aware if you're at home where you're sitting. Like even if I sit like this, it doesn't look bad in the video, but you can see I don't have a glare anymore on my glasses. So
yeah, I only wear glasses to read small stuff, so I have to use it to like read this stuff, but I don't wear them. I actually had LASIK, and now all of a sudden I'm like blind again. Who knew?
Oh, don't tell me that.
Well, I'm blind. What am I? Nearsighted, farsighted? I don't know. I can't read things that are up close. I have to like move them out far. Yeah. So I can see distance. I can drive. I can do anything. I just can't read little things.
I can't see distance. So that's got to change.
Let's see. Grim says, I get it from the screen. I think sometimes I've moved the lights a million ways, but if I use my white background, it's great. The green screen is bad glare, though, no matter what I do. Why do you use your green screen?
Yeah, I was going to ask, if you're using your green screen behind you and you're looking at the computer to take the picture, the computer screen is not going to be your friend, no matter what kind of background you have. And that's because of whatever you have on your computer screen showing. If I took down some of these, if I just made them go down a little bit, you can see now I can come up and you'll see a little bit in my eye, but most of it got darker. So if you have a lot of things open on your computer, if you have screens that are like Google where it's all white, then it'll definitely affect it because the background is distracting, I was told, and I really like it being blocked. Okay, so yeah, the background, it can be distracting, but I don't know, my personal preference, honestly, the video, again, I'm going to rely on my homepage or on that landing page because I just did it, but my background is my office because that's where I work. And yeah, part of it is my home, but that's where I am. And I want people to know that's where I am. I mean, I'm a mommy of an 8-year-old. I need to be home. Like I have to be home. So, I guess it really just depends on your personal preference, dear, but I would look into what you have in front of you versus what's behind you, because that's what's going to be affecting the glasses.
And with the white background, depending on how you position your lights, you can make your background less white. You can make it gray. So it doesn't have to be like straight. Like if the white is too white, you can also, by adjusting the angles of your light, make it gray. Because I used to use a white background, and then I used to use a white wall, but I've decided that it was just too much work, and so now I just use my background. but I did use a white wall before. But yeah. All right. Well, we're almost at the top. Well, we're actually past the top of the hour. So let me see. Do you think it's better to have fewer or many boards?
Yay, good question. So when you're starting out, if you have fewer boards on your account, I'm going to tell you that you need to work on interaction more than you need to work on pinning your own stuff. The reason I'm telling you that is because you don't want to bombard people and think that all you want them to see is your content. So if you only have 3, 4, 5 boards because you're just starting out, that's fine. But you want to go and repin other people's content, find those brand ambassadors, not your competitors, but people who are going to be ambassadors for your brand and that you can promote them as well, and pin their content, go and comment on pins, go and like pins, go join group boards. If you are concerned because you have over maybe 50 boards or more, I highly suggest you to start getting down to about the 50 board range. You can go over that. My suggestion to you is do not go over 75 to 100. If you have more than 75 to 100, you definitely need to start downsizing. You need to figure out a way, if you have 2 boards like healthy recipes and gluten-free recipes, put them together. If you like gluten-free more, that's fine. You can say healthy gluten-free recipes instead of healthy recipes and gluten-free recipes. Just figure out a way to combine them. Because if you are spread too thin, people will not see the value in the boards that you want that value to be seen for. So it kind of is a twofold again. You keep getting these twofold answers, Tiffany. I don't know. But if you're just starting out, start out slow with how many boards you create. If you have too many, start trying to combine and then really figure out what you don't need and just get rid of it. I know it sounds scary, but literally just get rid of it. Like you're going to spring clean, because it really does hurt you more than it does help you if you have more than, I would say, 75 to 100 of them.
Awesome. So I don't want to keep you longer than, because I know we're past 8 o'clock here.
Yeah, no.
So I want to do kind of like a little wrap up. Can you give us 3 top tips or 5 top tips or whatever you feel inspired?
I wrote down 5 top tips. Look at me. I know. I didn't know you would have questions, so I was kind of making sure that I had something to share for you guys. But okay, so my 5 top tips, and some of them we did cover, some of them we did not. So again, if you guys have questions, reach out to me on any social media platform, Twitter, Facebook, anything like that. Also, I guess I will put this in here. I have a really cool link for you guys to go to that takes you directly to a Facebook group. It's freesocialhelp.com. Because it is a Facebook group, obviously it's free, but I let anybody in there that has social media, Pinterest, blogging questions in that group, and you can feel free to ask me anything at any time, and I will always be there to help you. So if you guys still have questions, please go to that group and just let me know, and I will definitely work on getting answers for you. To recap some of the things we talked about and give you some other top tips, my 5 top tips are: 1, clean up and organize your Pinterest account. That goes along with those boards, how many you have, what the titles are, what the descriptions are. You only need to spend about an hour. Even if you have 100 boards, it shouldn't take that long to quickly go through them. If you can't think of a description for that board, it needs to go. If you can't think of a good title for that board, it needs to go. It's not meant to be there. So just clean up and organize. Make it look like you have a strategy, even if you're not quite sure what your strategy is yet. Organize them so people feel like they understand what you're trying to get across. Number 2.
You need you need like a stamp, like a Susie Orman denied stamp. Denied. Yeah. Take that board off.
Oh, I like that. I'm totally going to use that. All right, see, this is why you do branding.
I love it. I love
the brain.
it.
This is why you do the brain, right?
The brain, yeah. your brand brain. Maybe that's what I need to be. Somebody's brand brain.
Look at that. I like that. You could make it like a thing.
A thing, yes. Everything is a thing. I make everything a thing. That's what it's about.
Oh yeah, perfect. Let's do it. I'll come up with a fun graphic. I'll send it to you later.
Yes. Send it to me. I'm ready.
All right. So number 2 that I would say is the longer descriptions you have, the better. I literally go as long as I possibly can in my descriptions until Pinterest says, too much. And the reason I do that is because it's giving them as much value and information as possible. So the more you can have in those descriptions and the more optimized you can make them, the better. The third one is create a group board if you don't already have one, and start inviting only your brand ambassadors. Do not just go out and randomly invite people. They may start thinking that because you have a group board and you invited them, they're free and clear to post whatever they want. And it gets very hard if you allow that door to open to then close that door later. You have to go through and you're spending more time cleaning up and you're spending more time taking them off that group board. You could offend somebody because you took them off and then they start going through your Pinterest and saying you're spam or whatever. Just make very clear. I've had it. I'm telling you, I've had it. People are just,
Pinterest gangsters.
Yep. If they don't get to share their information, they don't want anybody else out there. That's how it goes for some of them. I don't know. I don't see it that way, but hey. But so go in, create that group board, find your brand ambassadors and invite them. You can invite them via Twitter. You can invite them via email, however you want to get connected with them. Definitely make sure that they're involved. They will start to help build up that brand because a group board does show for anybody that's involved on their Pinterest account as well. So if I had a group board and Sandra, I invited you, my group board's going to show up on Sandra's Pinterest account when people look at her profile. So it's more visibility. The fourth one, participate in group boards. Find the brands that you want to be aligned with. Find the non-competitors that will bring you up, that will shine light on your brand, that you can reciprocate that to, but that are people you want to align with. I always tell everybody there is enough air to breathe for everybody in this world. So as long as it's somebody that agrees.
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, as long as it's somebody that agrees that I mean, they really like your brand. Maybe they're close to what you do, but they're not exactly what you do. And you guys can refer business back and forth. Why not have them as a brand ambassador? Why not participate in group boards with them? Because you guys will only bring each other up. Surround yourself on Pinterest with people that you want to be around and that will bring you up instead of bringing you down. And then my fifth one was pin for later links, so that you can cross-promote on other social media platforms and bring up that link for them to pin what you're giving them for information for later.
Love it. Very cool. Well, I am super excited that you were on tonight. I feel like I have a Pinterest strategy for myself. I haven't used Pinterest as much for my brand as I should. And mostly because my Pinterest was established with my previous business. So there's a lot of photography-esque stuff out there. And so I'm going to take what you said. I'm going to clean up. I'm going to look at my descriptions. I'm going to create a group board, participate on other people's boards, and I'm going to use a pin it later. So I feel like you gave me 5 good nuggets that I can apply now. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the chat while we're still on here saying our goodbyes. Laura, you were amazing. Thank you so much. I will send a link. I will post a link to the replay once it's live. It usually takes a few minutes and then it'll go into the replay mode. But if you guys have questions, again, you can follow Laura at, what was your bit.ly? I tried to put it in there. Can't put it in there.
Yeah. No, that's fine. So any of your guys' questions that you want help on later, go to freesocialhelp.com. If you want to go through my 5-day free e-course to help you become a Pinterest marketing rock star, you can go to bit.ly. So bit.ly/Pinterest Rockstar, and the P and the R are capitalized, and I also put that in the chat too.
Awesome. And so one of the things that I always like to close off with is kind of letting people know that we are part of the reason why I do these chats so late is because I'm really trying to gear towards people who are trying to build and brand their business after dark. So I have a lot of moms that are out there who, after their kids are asleep, that's when they're building their business. So my tag is the branding after dark. If you want to meet us in our Facebook group, you can go to bit.ly branding after dark, and I'll type it in the bottom for you guys. We have our little, thank you, ma'am. We have our Facebook group, and I also have a Master Moms 6-week course that you guys can take. And part of that is to find out, what is your brand? Who are your clients? Like, how to make money in your business. We go through a whole strategy over 6 weeks. So if you guys are interested in that, that starts April 4th. And it is, I'll type it at the bottom where you guys can go for that. I'm really super psyched because I'm going to see if I can wrangle Laura to come back on the show and give us more tips, because she was amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to.
Yeah, guys, check her out. One of the most important things is not only, all the tips that she gave us, but it's really being consistent. So I think, I always talk about being consistent, and consistency to me is key in everything you guys are doing. So if you're going to use Pinterest, be consistent as what you post and when you post, because I think part of it is, it can look like the wasteland of Pinterest. I'll be honest. That's why I say don't go to my Pinterest. I don't use Pinterest as my main platform for my brand right now. But now that I have a strategy, I can go in there, I can clean it up, and I can use it for my brand. But I really feel like it's important that whatever platform you're using, that you nurture it and be consistent with it. So guys, I hope you had a wonderful night tonight with us here on Biz Blab Brand. And I will see you guys next Thursday, same bat time, same bat channel. Thanks so much, Laura. Take care, everyone.
Absolutely. Have a good night, you guys.
All right. Night night.
All right. Bye.